today, it's never been easier to build a global business that has an impact on the world. In fact, today, business owners are really doing what they're very passionate about in their hearts.
So, Kane, with so many developments in media and new expansions in social media, how can a global business get their brand out there?
Okay, well, there is a big misnomer between being international and just being online. So social media and the internet has really helped the world connect, which is great. But many times people believe that if they're just on social media or if they're just on the internet, that they're a global business. Now today, business is global, and so it's very important to be thinking internationally. But one of the important things if you want to use social media is really understand your different markets by geographic location or culture, and then understand how to be connecting with them and building communities on social media and the internet. Just putting yourself online or just using Facebook or LinkedIn or social media is not really enough to really build a business or make a big impact in the world. We really still have to understand people. Because remember, there are people on the other side of the social media, like you and myself. We get on Facebook and we engage. So it's really a question of who are we trying to reach and what really motivates them, and how do we bring them together as a community so that we can keep serving them as a community and then engaging them with our services and products if we're business owners.
And is it easy to build a global business which has such a big impact on the world?
Well, today, it's never been easier to build a global business that has an impact on the world. In fact, today, business owners are really doing what they're very passionate about in their hearts. They're building businesses out of that. I mean, maybe you've noticed, or the people watching have noticed, that there's been a major movement in the last 10 years for people to leave their corporate jobs, to get out of their businesses they're not enjoying anymore, and really do the things that they're passionate about in their hearts. And so that's what we support people in doing, is understanding how do you take your passions and your dreams and turn them into a sort of a free business. You can be anywhere in the world. And I don't mean free like you don't charge, right? But by being able to be anywhere in the world, travel anywhere in the world. My wife and I tour around, we educate, we train, and we have many, many companies. We started over 40 businesses in the last 20 years. And earlier on, 20 years ago, it wasn't as cool to be, we didn't have the same technology. We couldn't be online. Today, we live in Rome, we live in Silicon Valley, we travel close to 200 days a year, and we have 2 children. So, if somebody's listening to this and going, well, that's cool if you don't have children. We have a family, we do enjoy being in certain places and stationary, but our business allows us to be free and travel whenever we want. We run it online. And so being global today is about really understanding your markets, where you can go, who's attracting them. And today, you have 93 countries in the world that speak English. So we have over 1 billion people that you can be communicating with for your products, your services, and the impact you want to make. So making a global impact today is really just about understanding how to be clear about what you're doing, get yourself structured up, get visible, and be able to start influencing people all over the world.
And what are some of the top secrets about business owners, what they've been keeping to success?
So the best business owners are okay with being visible. And it's funny, I grew up in America, although I've lived all over the world for the last decade. And in growing up in America has a lot of crazy things and stuff that we don't like, even as Americans. We won't even talk about the elections going on right now. But one thing that was really brilliant about America is that we are incentivized to be visible, to be different, right? And so as I traveled the world, I realized not everybody is like that. And that's a bit of a challenge. So the best business owners in the world are willing to be visible. Like we've worked, a long time with Sir Richard Branson, who is very visible, right? Even though I describe him as one of the most humble, beautiful business owners I've ever met. He's a very sweet man and very, he sells like a proper English lad, as he says, right? But he's willing to be visible and he's creative, and that gets him the attention. And in many times his businesses, he had limitations on budgets, just like we all do as business owners. And so I think one of the top secrets is being willing to be visible. And then also I think another top value of top business owners is mentorship. Seek out people that have been there before you and let them guide you, let them give you answers. So you're not wasting your time, wasting money, wasting resources when someone could be guiding you in exactly how to be successful.
And so Brexit's coming up soon, and for a global entrepreneur, what are the effects if the UK leave the EU?
If you're really a global business, if you're really international, then it really will never affect you. And in the States, must have been about 10 years in the mid-90s, when the economy fell apart, I really learned this. Now, I happen to have a business that was in the home gaming business. We were doing, Nintendo DS games and online games. And so when the economies fell apart, when the global financial crisis hit, our business actually really grew. And I felt very bad about that because my friends were losing their homes and losing their businesses, and it was a very dark time in history in America financially. And I realized that at that point, you can never be dependent upon one economy. You can never be dependent upon one market, maybe not even dependent upon one business. And so I think that regardless of what happens with the Brexit, if people continue to look globally to sustain themselves internationally, they'll never have to worry about any changes that go on. And that's kind of we are. We call it, we're an agnostic economy. We often say we are completely outside of any of the economies because we're balanced across many economies, many countries, and many cultures. And therefore, if one culture or economy is starting to suffer and hurting our businesses, we just kind of shift our attention over to another. It's not a new start. We've already got momentum there. So my advice is to start right now, to start to distribute out your attention, not get it diffused, but to really start to look at how to make your business really international. So that if there's something happening in China or in Southeast Asia, or Australia or in Canada, or even Iceland, that's really cool. You can have the ability to balance your business across the world.
Well, thank you for joining us in our studios, Kane. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
That wraps up today's programme, but don't forget you can get the latest with the Dukascopy TV team by following us on Instagram or by following us on Facebook. Goodbye for now.